So thank you for coming to thank you for assisting the webinar. As the title speak about today, we want to propose to you an alternative to VMware, especially with the recent announcements of Broadcom of stopping VCSP program, of increasing the prices. We wanted with the team to show you what does Virtuoso propose. And before that, I will give you, for the ones who doesn't know us, a brief introduction about Virtuoso. So we are a European company. Headquarters are in Switzerland, but we do have Singaporean and American roots, meaning the developers, the first creators of the company, and the developers of the company of the software were based between Singapore and United States. We propose a complete stack cloud platform that can help any service provider to propose either infrastructure as a service or platform as a service, and from there X as a service, or everything combined in one platform. Alternative to VMware, but also helping service providers, if you are a service provider, to go and compete with the hyperscalers and legacy platforms. And we promise to the market and service providers the fastest time to market by using our cloud platform. So it's easy to use, lower TCO, and maximum profitability and sovereignty. Some of the references that we have, as you can see here, we do have Acronis, that is a cybersecurity company running all their cloud data centers on top of our solution. Opti9 in the US, Hitachi, who decided to move all their VMware cloud to Virtuoso in Japan. Continent 8, the betting game, Shark Tech in the US, also Servermania, Host Papa in Canada. So we see that more and more of the service providers are trusting us, are liking our solution once they use it, and they find it the most suitable cloud platform out there in the market for design for service providers. Now, let's come to the our 5 pillars when in the company, when we want to either develop our solutions or hire people or do anything in the company. Each and every single project is defined by these 5 pillars. There is efficiency, reliability, so how we can give you a solution that is the most efficient in the market, how we can give you also the most reliable solution in the market. Performance is very important also. Security is at the utmost priority within the 5 pillars, and also we need to give you a possibility to propose versatile offerings to your customers. We are not a newbie in the business. We are empowering service providers with infrastructure solutions since 25 years. We have more than 550 service providers running their clouds on top of our solution, and we are present on 80 plus countries. Like, to be precise, 85 countries. We do have service providers who are using our solution. Now, what you can ask yourself the question of, what can I do with Virtuoso? What can I propose with the broad portfolio of Virtuoso? So these are some examples of you as a service provider or you as a technology provider to your customers to propose. You can propose them S3 storage. We know that this is becoming more and more needed because of all this AI move, and the fact of needing data lakes and needing all these data and analytics, or high performance storage, or cold data that is stored for the AI. There is also database automation in case you want to propose database as a service. Of course, infrastructure as a service. So it's either you propose a virtual private server or virtual private clouds to your customers. Kubernetes as a service also. You can use the solution as a backup and DR to propose a DR to your customers, meaning they have their own installation in their data center and they use your cloud only for backup and DR. a DevOps platform as a service in case you are working with developers or ISVs or banking who needs like a full platform as a service and doesn't want to use the hyperscalers and want to use a sovereign solution, WordPress as a service, and AI as a service. So our solution supports GPU, accelerated infrastructure as a service, with GPU and vGPU support. So you can also within the same platform propose normal CPU, but also you can propose GPU as a service to the partners. Okay. And yeah, feel free to post any questions on the chat. So we will get to the Q&A session and we will be answering all the questions. Now, when it comes to VMware itself and how we do compare with VMware, so these are all the solutions that that are in VMware that are consolidated in one single stack from our side. So there is a VMware Cloud Director plus vSphere plus NSX plus Chargeback and vSAN. And all of these, you find it in the Virtuozzo Infrastructure solution. It's a multi-tenant solution by default. You don't need to install vCloud Director. You don't need to create your own multi-tenancy. You don't need to do anything there. We made it easier for you, and we made the solution multi-tenant with self-service panel created by default. Our hypervisor is a KVM hypervisor, but I call it KVM on steroids. It's a KVM that we tweak to make it more performant, as performance is one of our pillars. There is a software-defined network also included in the solution with virtual routing, virtual switching, that I will come to it when the architecture of when presenting the architecture of the solution. Very important for you as service providers to have metering and reporting tools. Some of you are not only proposing virtual private clouds pre-bought and selected configuration for your customers, but some of you are proposing pay-as-you-go solution to the market, and you need that metering in order to build your billing and invoicing to the customer. So this is also possible. There is a metering and reporting possibilities where you just integrate it with your billing system and your marketplace, and from there you bill your customers. And also there is a component software-defined storage that you can use. It's in the solution. Solution can be used on HCI mode or 3-par mode. So if today you are using the full stack from VMware, including vSAN, so you can use Virtuozzo software-defined storage, or we can integrate also with third-party storages. So yeah, so this is the architecture of the solution. As you can see, it is multi-tenant by default. We do all the orchestration, meaning multi-tenancy orchestration in software-defined network using OpenStack. So what we did is we relied on an open standard that is available in the market rather than building our own. And we have a 100% compatible OpenStack API. That means that anything that can be integrated with OpenStack can be integrated with the Virtuozzo solution. A KVM hypervisor, as I was saying, Virtuozzo storage in case you want to use the solution in an HCI mode, or as I was saying, you can just integrate it with your external storage. It can be a pure storage, it can be a NetApp, it can be any type of the available storages there that has an integration with OpenStack, because we are using the same OpenStack APIs, Cinder driver APIs that are connecting to external storage. So any external storage who has an integration with OpenStack, we can integrate with it with no issues within iSCSI or Fiber Channel or NFS. From a list of services that we do have also in the solution, you have like all the computation or compute, and compute can be CPU or GPU compute. Kubernetes included by default. Also, you can spin Kubernetes clusters and provide Kubernetes as a service to your customers. Storage as a service, as I was saying, load balancer from a software-defined network perspective. We do have also a simple backup solution that is integrated in the in the solution in Virtuozzo Infrastructure that does a snapshot. Or, no, it's not a snapshot. That does a volume backup for every VM that you can also propose to your customers. But also we integrate with third-party backup solutions, and we do have also VPN capabilities where you can build a IPsec tunnel between two platforms. And this is mostly used for hybrid cloud, where when you have like some customer having their own on-premise or and one in your cloud or in two different clouds, and they need all these private clouds to communicate each other. And if you have any questions, you can post them on the Q&A or on the chat, and we will get to them at any later when we arrive to the Q&A session. So three pillars for you to build a modern cloud environment that are very, very important, and we see them more and more coming. And we see a subject that is more and more coming called sovereignty. So end users and service providers and some data regulation state decisions are making it to make all the data hosted within the countries. So if you are in the US, they will ask you to have the data in the US. If you are in Canada, they will also ask you to have the data in Canada. So we need to give you a sovereign solution. We need to give you a solution that doesn't depend on any hardware or any cloud. All the panels and everything is hosted in your data center. So this is we are compliant with it. You can use the hardware of your choice. We don't bind with any hardware. You can use the brand of your choice. We just need to make sure that it supports Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9 because it's the base of our OS base of our software, but we can run on top of any solution that is Red Hat 9 certified. And we are rebasing it soon to Red Hat 10 to support new hardware. Performance. So we are bringing a performance solution, and we are always doing benchmarks against competition to make sure that we are still and always giving you the right performance for your workloads, either for the high demanding workloads or for the low demanding workloads. And also not forgetting one of the most important, if not the most important component, that is the cost, but the cost to bring you profitability. So we want to make our solution not costly in order to or cost efficient enough for you to be profitable at the end of the day. We want to empower your profitable business because it's a partnership, and the more you grow, the more we grow. So if you are profitable and you grow your business in a profitable way, that means that we are giving you the right solution, and then we will be growing with you. So as I was saying, like we are Switch headquarters, fully GDPR compliant. Even the employees are GDPR compliant. And the employees all over the world. So we have this GDPR trainings and certifications that we need to have. It's a local, full 100% deployment, no dependency on any panel on the cloud or any console on the cloud or any hardware vendor or our hardware or part numbers on hardware of different hardware manufacturers. We are fully agnostic, and we can work with everyone. And there is no hidden dependencies either, so we don't depend on anyone else. And we enable regional cloud independence. That means that we are working with service providers to become an alternative cloud provider, and then they can provide regional cloud to your customers. When you use our solution in the hyper-converged infrastructure, there is, of course, an efficiency that you are getting by using it. There is a less overhead that is having it because you don't separate storage systems. You can cluster everything that you have in the same cluster. You are having also this virtual switching software-defined network that make it easier for you to manage. from a management perspective. And if it's easier to manage, easier to use, that means that operations cost is also lower from a support and maintenance perspective to provide the solution to your customers. There is also from a software-defined storage perspective, 2x better disk economy against any competitor that you have in the market, or any 3-par solution that you will be doing, or you will be using Ceph, or any type of storage you have out there. A lower total cost of ownership, of course. You can use just commodity hardware and don't have any vendor lock-in, and you can save up to 50% on your storage cost. And one unified management and scale. So one platform for storage and compute, and it includes auto healing, tiering, snapshots at no extra cost. And Mike will be making us a demo, a quick demo later, so you can see this in real. Multi-tenancy, this is one of the best features for you as a service provider to have it by default. So today, no matter the solution that you can go to from the competition, it usually doesn't include it, or if it includes it, you need to buy a separate module that costs a lot of money. But in Virtuozzo, it is by default integrated in the solution. So as you can see here, there is a 3-tier multi-tenancy. So you have the system administrator, you as a company, as a service provider. Then you create a domain for your for the administrator of your of the customer side, and then you expose to them a self-service portal that will be registered as a domain, and that administrator can create project members who will be accessing projects and then doing all the projects that they need. So it can go within this leveling, and Mike will also show it in the demo. So you are a cloud service provider, you can provide it this way. You are a managed service provider, you can also have and propose multi-tenancy, not to be always behind your customers doing everything they want to do. You can just expose to them a self-service portal and make it more efficient from an operations perspective for them to manage their infrastructure. Or if you are a system integrator proposing a private cloud on-premise on enterprise, also they will be having this multi-tenancy. So they will be having the system administrator, having the food rights, and then giving domains to the internal users. From a storage perspective, on our software-defined storage, we do support the 3 flavors of storage. S3 object storage, that is by default integrated in our solution. You don't need to buy an add-on. On VMware World, vSAN doesn't propose S3 at all. It is included in the solution and in the storage. iSCSI block storage and NFS and Samba file storage. So you can propose the 3 flavors to your customers, and they can enjoy the 3 of them. Now, one thing to mention is our S3 storage is very, very performant. You can also cater for the data and analytics use cases. So if you want to go to the healthcare or the banking and propose a solution with a very performant object storage for data and analytics softwares, and doing all the not only backup and archive, but also some AI on top of the data, or some data and analytics on top of the data, that is also possible with our solution. Some of the technical partnership ecosystem, from a backup and disaster recovery, we are already integrated with Acronis and Commvault. Veeam is on the works now. We hope to get it very soon. This is planned Q3, Q4 this year. It will be a native integration with Veeam. And we use also a replication tool called cloud-based Coriolis for disaster recovery. That is our integration for disaster recovery. From a CMP perspective, or cloud management platforms integrations, we do have integration with WHMCS, OSIA, Hostpin, and Fleo. And we do have our own CMP also that can be used to propose a CMP to a better user experience to your customers. And as I was speaking about data and analytics, we have certification from OpenText, Vertica, that is a leader in the data and analytics solutions. Now you will ask us like one of the most important questions is how can I migrate from VMware to Virtuozzo? Yeah, Virtuozzo is a great solution. We are testing it. It's fine. It's super. How can I migrate from my VMware cluster or my customers from their VMware cluster to a Virtuozzo cluster? So for this, we do have a migration services, so we can do it for you. We do have a professional services that does it, following the 4 steps of migration planning, destination planning, and platform architecture. We do a POC and dry run, and then we train you on how to do it later. Or also you can do it by yourself using one of these solutions. So from the next version that is coming, 7.3.1, that is coming beginning of May, we will be having a Virtuozzo Migrator solution in the platform that you can propose also to your customers in the self-service portal. So this is coming in May. It will be free from charge, and it will be directly integrated in the panel of the solution. But also you can use available solutions in the market like High-Stacks, closed cloud-based Coriolis, Aerosoft Cloud Any, or do a backup and restore using Acronis. So what you do is just backup and restore your VM. It comes with a higher downtime because it's a backup and restore. So you need to wait until all the data is copied in the other side. But the other options here are based on replication. So the downtime is very, very minimal. It's the time to shut down the VM on the VMware side and boot it up on the Virtuozzo side. So it's near zero downtime and considered as a live migration. And we will make an announcement with the marketing team once 7.3.1 will be available, and our partners and prospects can start testing the migration tool. Some of the examples of migrations, for example, we do have a cloud and IT service provider who were having 100 VMs that we moved with High-Stacks, and everything has been done in 2 months. Another one with 1,000 VMs in New Zealand, a telco company who were using Acronis and Coriolis and migrated 1,000 VMs and nearly finishing it. And another one with 500 VMs that have been migrated in 30 days using our in-house migration team. So we help them swap out VMware 500 VMs in 30 days. Now I will be handing it to Mike, who will be making a short demo, and then we will go to the Q&A session.
Thank you, Ahmed. Everybody hear me? Can you see my screen?
Not yet. We can't see your screen.
Yes, we see it. We see it.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's up. We're going to do a high-level look at the infrastructure. From the infrastructure, I have a 3-node, our bare metal cluster in here. We can add additional nodes, so it's very expandable from that perspective. This is our hyper-converged. You can see it as a multi-tiered storage media type and different types of media. We will leverage that in a tiered system and utilize policies to define where the workloads go from our multi-tenant environment, as well as our storage services. On our software-defined networking, we have multiple networks that we leverage for network services. Those network services are distributed throughout the cluster, utilized for communication of the cluster, as well as leveraging layer 2, layer 3 type networks where we can leverage that throughout the cluster. We want to be able to isolate management as well as compute services within the cluster. So we have the communication and we have the various networks that we need. Once those networks are defined, we assign network services to those networks. You can see there's many services. These are the services that are out of the box. The ones we want to highlight are obviously storage, that we can leverage the hyperconverged, and we can isolate that so we can get more performant. We talked about Acronis, and there's a plug-in here for Acronis Backup Gateway that you can leverage this as a storage mount point for backups. And then your regular traffic obviously is for the administration panel, as well as storage services. I mentioned iSCSI NFS S3 that we can leverage and extend, and we will get those details here shortly. We have the self-service portal, which is really our multi-tenancy that we will leverage, and then our VM public. We jump into the settings, just to highlight a couple elements here. Because it is a cluster, we have nodes that are already communicating on the back end. We want to make sure that the interface is available at all times. And so we put it into a high availability state where we present the management interface within the cluster. That is for the administration panel, which is this panel, as well as the self-service portal for your tenants. It also is part of the distributed switching for the dynamic routing on the back end. For some of those that for compliances, some of these compliances, we can take the hyperconverged storage tiers, and we can leverage an encryption element where it is AES 256 encrypted for a tier. And then we can define those workloads within the tenant portal and put those workloads on an encrypted tier. Additionally, within the services here, we have two-factor, so we can add OTP on top of the login, so we can add more additional services for more compliances and more secure elements as we look at one of our pillars for security. One element I always highlight, being in the industry, is our backups, because backup or updating services. And the reason why I highlight this is because this, in a clustered environment, is generally a challenge. And since Virtuozzo owns the entire stack, the kernel, the storage, the orchestration, and the virtualization layer, we manage this out. Ahmed said there's a new build coming out. It will register in here. You highlight it, it downloads and pre-stages the nodes and selects one at a time, puts it in maintenance mode, fences it, moves the services, performs the update, and works through it. So it's kind of an automated element. You can actually pull it from automation and do it one at a time, but this is a really nice feature from a clustered service and from a cloud service. And so it does live migration of all the VMs and services that are on there. Once it's configured, we obviously have our storage services. So in addition to the compute or the virtualization layer, we have the storage services. And one I will highlight is the S3. S3 is in such a way, and this is where we can leverage this for generalized bucket or isolated buckets. And when I say isolated buckets, or policy-driven buckets within the tenant portals. I will highlight the settings, and this is where the performant come in. This is out of the box, where you take a tier, a normal storage tier that you can leverage, and we can actually put a meta storage policy on top of it. So we take a faster tier and put it on top of our storage. It acts like a caching server, and it increases the performance of your gets and your puts. So that's built in. You can leverage it throughout the cluster. We can jump into compute. We do have monitoring services. We look at this, it's just kind of look at it. Built into it is Grafana and Prometheus. I won't go into it, but it's fully fleshed out. You can actually extend it more and whatnot. We have alerts and activities that are in there. So all the alerts will come in here. But one I want to highlight here is the audit log. In addition to the login, the encryption, we have an audit log here. So all activities, whether it's services or individuals that log in here, every service will, or every activity will be logged and defined within here. Lastly, in the compute, now that we've got a cluster together, we've got our storage set up, we're going to look at compute. Within the settings, we have add-on services. We have elements that we can turn on and be a part of it. We have resource policies. That's dynamic distribution. If you're familiar with VMware, it's the DRS, very, very similar to that. And the dynamic consolidation allows you to bring a larger if you have a large cluster with various nodes, you can label like a Windows and bring it to a single node if you're doing maintenance. Just makes it easier. Here's the Kubernetes. Within the Kubernetes, you have a load balancing service that balances traffic, two paths, does a round robin direct type traffic to that. Here's the billing metering. This is an aggregate resource, aggregates the resources that can be configured through Noki API. And then basically it just every hour on the hour, it basically logs the resources being consumed, the storage, the network, the compute, the RAM, and also the GPU. And so it can be leveraged within here. And you can see some of how we can set up some of these services. I will jump up to storage as once we have the tier system and the software defined storage. It will bring up my volumes here. And these are the virtual disks that are here, and they are defined by policy. You can see the policy here. As a volume that is here, I can actually take a backup here, or if it's a volume that's going to be used, I can take a snapshot. So the backup is the built-in backup. It's a volume-based backup, and then a snapshot is obviously what a snapshot, and then I can edit it. We define storage policies. You can see it along the top here. We have external storages, and that's where we connect to Pure, any Cinder framework driver that is within the system that you can, iSCSI, Fiber Channel, and NFS. Within the policies, you can see I have various policies. Those policies that are created allow us to distribute to different types of workloads. I can distribute to different tiers. I can build different redundancies, and I can limit performance or IOPS bandwidth if I want to build different types of tiers. On an external storage, I can limit IOPS and bandwidth. So we can leverage that internal, external. It becomes very powerful from a policy perspective. Jump up to virtual machines. Two things I'll highlight real quick here is the imaging. There is a centralized image repository that can be global or individual, meaning each tenant has the ability to upload their own image. Those will be templates or ISOs. And then let me select that so you can see the various ones that we have within this cluster here. So you can see the various operating systems or ISOs that we're going to use and that we are going to distribute. Lastly, in this area is the flavors. Flavors are the resources that we are going to assign. That is vCPU, memory, and if a GPU is configured, we can build those, and that we can distribute them globally as well as to the tenants. So now that we have this cluster configured and everything, it really comes down to how do we distribute this. It is a self-service portal that is done in here, and we do that by tenant, by project. So if I jump down here, a domain is a tenant. Within a tenant, I can have multiple projects. So we come in here to a project. A project has users. We have domain users as well as project managers, which is a single project or multiple projects. A domain sees all projects. What is a project? A project is the resources that we've allocated based on policies and how the configuration of the cluster is. That is done by quota. So Ahmed said that we could do pay as you go. You could turn this on to unlimited and they have full access. But if you wanted to narrow the scope, you could narrow that scope. You could assign them to specific storage tiers. This could be internal, external, or encrypted, and then your various elements. Floating IPs are external IPs that come in, and then obviously here's the VPN. The Kubernetes, the placement rule allows you to place VMs on certain nodes based on rules and whatnot. Once I've got that configured, including branding that theme, so I can brand it for that individual tenant. So I've already pre-logged into this. I have this area, so it matches. Now I have my private cloud or area I want to build virtual machines. You can see I have Kubernetes, images, volumes, networks. I have everything predefined here. I am going to show quickly how to create a virtual machine. From that virtual machine, we name it. We pull from the image, whether I uploaded an image or I use an image from the repository, I can do that. I grab that. It is set to a default policy. If I need to change that policy, depending on how that policy is given to me, it'll always pick default, or I can pick a new one which is given to me. I will pick a faster tier. I pull from a flavor, again, my resources that I will assign to it. And then my last element here, basic element for a virtual machine, is the network that I have already pre-done. And I will add that on here. That is it for a VM. I can upload SSH keys for this. I can do post installation configuration, and then I can actually turn on hot plug and actually increase the resources if I want to for my tenant. So as a tenant, simple, I can build a virtual machine. Once a virtual machine is installed, I'll just look at that virtual machine. I can highlight it and see I have ways to reboot, restart, power off. I can make changes to flavors because I've enabled hot plug. I can change networks, add networks, change names, and whatnot. I can also console into it. Once I console into it, I have an ability to just log in and manage it from here. Once it comes up, I will log in here real quick. And make sure I'm in, and first make sure I have access to the internet, and that's done through my routing, which we could get into. And then lastly on this, if I wanted a IP address, I can get an external IP address that's already there, assign it to the virtual machine I just created. And once it comes up here on the network and I assign it, I now have access to that virtual machine from my machine here. And I will actually ping it, and then that will be, once that comes up here, or this, it's pulling up my command prompt here. That is a quick demo for this. Very simple. It translates very well for users because it is very easy. And now I can see that virtual machine. And that concludes the demo, the simple demo right now. We can go to questions. Tatiana, can you bring up some of those questions?
Yeah, we had some questions in the chat. First of all, was a question about vGPU. Is it supported? Share vGPU.
Yes, vGPU and GPU is supported. NVIDIA, and obviously with vGPU, you have to have the license.
Yeah, connected as well, like what level of support for AI workloads and running NPUs?
NPUs is not in OpenStack right now. It is an open item in the actual open source community. And so I anticipate that coming because that is a big topic right now. There's workarounds for it, but since we're a purpose-built OpenStack, it would have to come in through the modules.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Also, there was a question about vSAN. Do you have vSAN-like functionality?
Yes, that is our storage. If we go, I'll just jump over here to a node, and when we assign NVMEs to tiers, and those tiers are distributed through the policies throughout that. That is our software defined. I know vSAN is very specific on NVMe caching and elements. That is in here. We can build a cache server and we can do various things. We went over it quickly, but it is there.
Okay, perfect. And one more question, is there a DR replication capabilities built in from one side to another? For replication, do you support sync or async?
There is no built-in. That's where we partner with some tools. There is in works for a replication tool to be a part of it, and that'll be coming. Now that some of the third parties do have their replication, and you can leverage that from one site to another.
Great, thank you, Mike. Yeah, there were also questions about number of nodes. Ahmed already responded, but you can also give some highlights on that number of nodes in the cluster that is required as a minimum.
Minimum is 3 because of the architecture for the high availability. And then depending on your backplane, gives you a theoretical is unlimited, but it's practical how the workloads work. So you got to at least start with 3. We like 5 just because of the architecture. It's an N+2 architecture.
Yep, and considering migration for Proxmox, what option we have? Overall, yeah, we have already many use cases when customers were moving from Proxmox to us. But maybe you can highlight a bit more details on that.
There's many different types of ways to migrate from export, convert, import to backup and restore from your backup services if it's supported within OpenStack. Our tool will eventually get to Proxmox. Currently, the first release will be VMware and Azure, and then obviously more. And then there's those third-party tools as well. So there's a lot of options, and we can assist you in defining those options, what works best for you.
Sounds great. We have one more new question. Did you support any of vendor HP, Dell?
HP as far as hardware.
I guess so, yeah.
Any hardware that is on the Red Hat HCL list certified will work in here. So there's a lot of flexibility in how what we support because it's really the Red Hat kernel that we use, and that's why we go with the HCL.
Okay. And did you have P2V tool?
We don't have a physical to virtual tool. There are tools out there that will work to that can do that because it's a conversion on the back. It's taken the physical and convert it to a back end. It is a QCOW back end, QCOW 2 to be specific for KVM.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Guys, do you have any other questions so far? This is a chance.
I see that Jamie is raising the hand. Maybe he has some question. He can just type it in the Q&A, or maybe
We
we
can
answer.
even allow you to talk, Jamie, to be honest. Like, let me. Yeah. If you wish, you can ask your question.
It's on mute.
Okay, maybe that was an accidental raising hand. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Jamie just agreed that that was an accident. No worries with that. Okay, guys, any other questions? I guess for now, no. Thank you guys for all the questions.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for the questions. Thanks for attending. You can visit our website if you want to start a trial. The team and also myself, Mike and Kirill are happy to help you if you have any other questions or any need of dedicated sessions for you to see more the solution. Yes, Sean, there will be a recording that will be sent right after the webinar, so there will be an email with the recording that you can share with the team. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your
Thank
time.
you.
We see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.